big shout out to y'all. All right. So we about to get into this System of God part 2. Okay. So yesterday, if y'all remember, we talked about the process of God, right? You know, a little different than what they give you in the Bible, which is nothing, right? They don't explain none of the processes of God. You're just told that God exists and that God created light and God created the earth and God created the beings on the earth, but no real details or no real information about what actually took place, about how it formulated, okay? So we don't have much of a backstory on what God is, you know what I'm saying? And I can't fathom the idea that God don't want us to know, that God wanted us to have a cap on our knowledge. I can't see that. And the reason why I say I can't see that is because he gave us these brains, right? And these brains that we have, we don't even use the full capacity of it. So you can't say what God ain't want for us. So, you know, it's like when they say you're not supposed to question God. And people try to let that mean that you're not supposed to ask questions, which is ridiculous, which is completely ridiculous if you think about it, because God wouldn't have gave us such an ability to have a capacity of knowledge if God didn't intend for us to know. So like I said, we only using 3% of our brain. Imagine how much we would understand if we was using just an additional 5 to 7%, maybe to get up to 10%. Then imagine what we could be if we were using 20%, right? So if you understand the capabilities of humans, of humanity, then you know that we ain't even scratched the surface. We haven't even scratched the surface of what we are capable of. Okay? So don't let nobody put a cap on our ability. Don't let nobody tell you that we ain't supposed to know. Okay? God fully intended for us to know. And that's why we learning right now. Let me tell y'all something. Everything about what I'm explaining is that God has a process. Do y'all understand that? Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand just that simple statement. That God has a process. And we are living within that process. Everything that we talked about yesterday is a part of God's process. The seeding, like we're going to talk about the creation of planetary bodies today. But then yesterday we talked about the seeding of planetary bodies. And then we talked about the process of the seed, which is evolution, right? The seed has to evolve in order to become its greater self, right? So that's God's processing. The seeding, the evolution, all of that is a part of God's process. It's just that science cannot attribute that to God because science has not definitively proved. What science wants to do is to see God. Y'all understand that? They want to see God with their eyes. That's the ego of white men. White men think that they deserve to be able to see God. Like, I think God wants us to know things, but we ain't earned the right to see God. You gotta be fucked up in your mind to think that you not earned that level or that position in existence where you should be able to see God. Guys, there are dimensional beings that are higher dimensions than us, that are more spiritually evolved than us, that ain't never, oh my God, y'all already know we got to clean up on Alpha. Oh, we got somebody in here that has seen God, but they on TikTok. You done seen God. Well, why you ain't out here saving the world, big dog? You done seen God, but you on TikTok? Why you ain't saving the world somewhere, big dog? Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you. I have seen his face. His face. Ain't that what he say? I have seen his face. Oh, Lord have mercy, boy. These people exist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Listen, telling us you done seen God and can't prove that shit, it means nothing to us. It means nothing to us. Okay? I could come in here and tell you that I was in the Andromedan galaxy last night. I was having dinner with aliens last night in the Andromedan galaxy. What you gonna need for me to believe that? You know what I'm saying? Right. What you gonna do if I tell you that I was in an Andromedan galaxy last night having dinner with some extraterrestrials? Ain't y'all gonna require some level of proof? Ain't y'all gonna require something to say, hey man, why are you even telling us this if you can't even prove it? But these are the people we see in life. Guys, let me tell y'all something. You know, when we look out at the universe, we are essentially seeing God. When we look out at the universe, but we don't know that. You know, we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You come to understand that God is all around. But this idea that God is a man with a face, like this person that just told you, those are the baby brains that we want to stay away from. Okay? That's a baby brain. That baby brain don't, hey, listen, I just want y'all to understand, man. We live in a world with a bunch of people who have very limited understanding. The only understanding they have is the understanding that the white society has given them. So white society has given them this perspective that God is a man, that you can see his face, the white dude that sits on the throne, right? And so people want to perceive God. People want to create these perceptions of what God is, man. But God is much more magnanimous than our perception, okay? So like I said, yesterday we talked about the process of God. We talked about the seeding of the universe, the seeding of earth, the seeding of the universe. All of this is within God's system, the process of God, okay? So, and like I said, the reason why we're talking about this is because we're getting ready to get into the Sumerian tablets. We're getting ready to discuss the Anunnaki, right? And when you're talking about the Anunnaki, you're talking about people from a different world. And that's a hard concept for earthlings to grasp, for humanity on earth to grasp, the concept that there are other beings living on other worlds, there are other beings living on other planetary bodies. That's just a hard concept, and that's due to your brainwashing. Okay, so because you've been brainwashed and you've been told that Earth is the only planetary body in existence, you've been told that there's no life outside of Earth. You know what I'm saying? All this idiotic baby brain ideologies that you've been given, okay? This is the reason. This is the reason why we can't embrace the idea of other creation outside of ourselves, okay? So we tend to see humanity as the pinnacle of existence, and it's not. It's other creations that are older, that are more advanced, that are more spiritually evolved than humanity. Humanity is not the pinnacle of existence, gang. Okay? So you don't know what God looked like. God might got a favorite group of beings that he resembled. It might not be us. Okay? What's up, Jay Swing? Peace and love, my brother Jay Swing. Appreciate you joining us, family. All right. So anyway, we're going to get into, we're going to talk a little bit more about God's system. And like I say, the reason we're talking about this is because it's leading us up to talking about the Anunnaki, who we know are beings that come from a different world. And when you talk about the Anunnaki and you talk about them coming from a different world, and the next question is, what is the world that they come from? What's that world like that the Anunnaki come from, right? So, in order to explain all of that, right, it eventually gets back to, well, then who is God? Because the biggest problem with the Anunnaki discussion is some people teach that the Anunnaki are the creators of man, and that's incorrect, okay? That's not authentic. So all of the people that's out here teaching that baby brain information, they are limited in their understanding. The Anunnaki are not the creators of man. I'm going to say that again. The Anunnaki are not gods. The Anunnaki are not fallen angels. In this course, you're going to get all of these concepts. You're going to leave this course understanding who the Anunnaki were, who the fallen angels were, or why they call them fallen angels, okay? But you're also going to have a better understanding or a better perspective of what God is. Now, I'm in by no way telling you that what I'm teaching you in this portion of the course is what is, okay? I don't know, just like that person that just left talking about they seen God, I'm not going to tell you that I know what God is. I'm telling you that I have a perception of what I believe God may be, Okay, so I'm sharing that with you because if you understand anything about science, most of the stuff in science is based on theories. Okay, so if they can develop theories and we can develop our lives around the theories that science develops, then by all means we can develop theories too based on our information. So based on my information and what I understand, I developed the theory of God and we call it the system of God. Okay. So today is part 2. Yesterday we talked about the process of God. Today we're going to talk about God's garden. I told y'all yesterday that God's garden is the universe. This is the way I want y'all to see it, okay? I want y'all to see God as the ultimate gardener, and I want you to see the universe as his garden. It's going to be easier to understand these concepts if you see it in this way. So yesterday we talked about the creator's process of creation upon the earth, which is the seeding method, in which evolution is the process that follows seeding. It's the long-term process of developing physical life, okay? So in order for us to be physically in existence the way we are, you have to have this long process of seeding in which these life forms go through these different stages, okay? And what else did we learn yesterday? That the reason for this is because the DNA system, which is a computer system, is learning, okay? As the DNA system learns and gathers more data, it changes. It becomes a better version of itself. It continues to upgrade. All right. So that's what our DNA system has been doing since we were single-celled organisms. When we were single-celled organisms, that's what blew my mind. Let me just say that right quick. When I found out that single-celled organisms had a DNA system, that blew my mind. Okay, so now you got to have my level of understanding to even fathom how impressive that is, but that's an impressive piece of knowledge. So these single-celled organisms, they upgraded themselves to multi-cell organisms. Multi-cell organisms upgraded themselves to the animalia, the existence of the creatures without vertebrae and so forth, and other complex life forms as we go forward. So you see this system unfolding, and all you can say is, damn, it's something intelligent behind this design. There is no way that this is all randomness. Okay? There is something intelligent behind this design. Now listen, this level of information that we talk about, I want y'all to understand that this is the gift of life. The idea that it's more out there. Like, I don't want to believe that what we learn on earth is all there is to be. I want to believe in a universe that there's much more to explore, much more to understand. And I think that is the gift of life. The fact that it's more to it, man. This whole experience is a lot more to come. All right. So make sure y'all locked in and y'all ready for this journey to learn more, to embrace more, to understand more. Okay. So like I said, yesterday we talked about the creator's process of creation upon the earth, which is the seeding method, in which evolution is the process that follows seeding. Evolution is the long-term process of developing physical life. Our entire world is in a constant state of evolution, whether you know it or not. So think about that, right? It's folks out here that say, oh, evolution ain't real. Evolution is all around you. We are evolving right now. Right? You see short-term evolution when you see pregnancy. When you see a woman in pregnancy, that's a form of short-term evolution. When you go from a baby to an adult, that's a form of short-term evolution. Things are evolving around us every day. Seeds are becoming plants. Plants are becoming trees. All of this are forms of evolution. Even the world itself, the world we occupy itself, has been going through a process of evolution. Do y'all understand that? Think about what the planet once was as opposed to what the planet is now. All right, so let's go back. Do a little science right quick. So they say this world been around about 4 billion years. All right. If you understand that, you know what we're about to talk about. Okay. So this is the earth 4 billion years ago. This is the earth 4 billion years ago. Y'all see this? The earth 4 billion years ago was a ball of molten rock and lava. A very uninhabitable place for the life we have today. The life we have today upon the earth could not survive on the earth 4 billion years ago. Okay? All right. So the earth we have today is an evolution of the earth we had in the beginning 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years ago, it was a flaming ball of molten rock and metal. This was called the Hadean period. The Hadean period, right? I guess it's giving some kind of credence to Hades. The Hadean period. But the earth is always evolving, okay? So this is 4 billion years ago. This is the Hadean period. The earth was molten rock and metal. All right, everybody can see that? Earth was vastly different then than it is today. With a molten surface, extremely hot temperatures, frequent volcanic eruptions, a near non-existent atmosphere, and almost no oxygen, making it an inhospitable place for life as we know it today. The only life forms, listen to this, the only life forms that were likely present were simple, single-celled, anaerobic bacteria. You remember I told y'all in the beginning, all we had was the protocells. Okay, those was the initial seeds. Okay, so watch this shit. So in this very hot, chemically rich, chemically rich planet that were forming, these single cell, these protocell organisms were able to develop. They call them extremophiles because they were able to develop in extreme conditions, okay? Those single cell bacteria was the initial seeding of the world. So if you wanted to go back and you wanted to see what it looked like, you know, when God is first creating what we are to become, it starts with these single cell bacteria. Those were the first seeds. Okay, and they dropped those seeds into the soil. The soil was this planet of molten rock. Okay, imagine this like being an oven that's got to cook, right? That's got to cook these organisms to make them what they're supposed to become. So after 1 billion years, okay, so when we go from 4 billion years to the 3 billion year part, you get the first stage of planetary evolution. After 1 billion years, the planet cools. The atmosphere develops and oceans form. This is called the Archean period, the period when multi-cell organisms develop into early life forms. All right, so now here we go to the next step of evolution. So we got the planet evolving into a planet with an atmosphere, okay? We got oceans beginning to form, and now we got the single-celled organisms starting to evolve into the multi-cell organisms, okay? If you go another billion, you get to this period, which is called the Proterozoic period. Proterozoic period, all right? This is when complex life forms start to develop. This is like when the Animalia, right? I don't know if y'all ever seen like Nautilus, these ancient seashells, Nautilus and these Animalias and all of these different little life forms without vertebrae. This is when they started to form, okay? So you go another billion years after that, and now you are closer to our period, all right? 1 billion years after the Proterozoic era, we have the era in which all the land masses have emerged, okay? In 1 billion, that was just 1 billion years ago, the lands emerged, and we were in the period that they called Pangea. So this is when the entire land mass was one. Okay, so I know some of y'all have heard of the concept of Pangea. If you've ever heard of the concept of Pangea, give me a number 5 in the chat. If you ever heard the concept of Pangea, all the planetary, all of the land masses being one. Give me a 5 in the chat. So when we talk about Pangea, people tend to think that the land masses have separated, right? They haven't separated. We live on a rock. I want y'all to understand that. We live on a big rock, okay? So these land masses have not separated. What has happened is more water has caused them to be separated. So the lands are still connected. If you remove the water, if you remove the Atlantic Ocean, you could drive from Florida to Africa. If you remove the Atlantic Ocean, you would go down a cliff, okay, to the base, and you can drive across to Africa, okay? It's just that the volume of water has caused these land masses to be separate. But all of the land masses are still connected. It's just the water, the amount of water that's upon them, okay? So this is the planetary evolution. All right. So like I told y'all, man, everything is in a constant state of evolving. All right. It's all a part of a greater process. And that is the system of God that we live within. Okay. All of this evolution is a part of God's system. Our planet is just one plant in God's vast garden, which is the entire universe. Let me say that one more time. Our planet, the planet Earth, right? Probably why they call it planet, because it's a plant. All right? Right? And we also, y'all know we got some concepts of the world being an actual tree, right? Give me a 2 in the chat if y'all ever heard of the world concept of it being a great tree with different levels. I actually think I got a picture of it somewhere here. I have to look at it. Yeah, okay, so think about that. Think about what I'm trying to tell you now. Exactly where that concept of Asgard comes from, okay? So all I'm saying is see the earth. I want y'all to see the earth like one plant in God's vast garden, all right? And this universe is large, right? So this garden, when we talk about it being a plant in God's garden, and the garden of God being the universe, we're talking about a very, very, very large garden. We're talking about it because the universe is unfathomably large, okay? The universe is so large that they had to develop terms like the known universe or the observable universe, okay? That's how big it is. They had to come up with these terms to quantify how big it is, right? Y'all ever heard them scientists talk about the known universe? Okay, so right here in this, how much of the known universe we could see in 1922 as opposed to how much we could see in today's time, okay? As opposed to how much we could see in today's time, okay? So in 1922, we didn't have the level of technology. So in 1922, we didn't have the level of technology that we have today. So in 1922, with the technology that they had, this is how much of the known universe that they could see, which is not that much. This is very small. This is just about a galaxy. This is just a galaxy amount of visual, okay? So that's how much we could see in 1922. That's the known universe, 100,000 light years. In today's era, our technology allows us to see much further. So we could only see 100,000 light years of space in 22, but in today, we can see up to 93 billion light years of space, which is a extremely large size in comparison to 100,000 light years. So we can see a lot more. right? And listen, that's 93 billion light years sound like a lot. That ain't nothing compared to the actual size of the universe. It sounds like a hell of a lot. It sounds like a hell of a lot. And it is based on relativity. But it's only big in comparison to the size of the Earth. These 93 billion light years, right? These 93 billion light years is these 93 billion light years, right? These 93 billion light years is only a smidget when compared to the estimated size of the universe. This is what they call the observable universe. This is the portion of the universe that they can see. Okay? So this is not our entire universe. This is just a portion of it. Wrap your mind around this and watch this. Listen to what I'm finna tell you. Check this out. The observable universe has 2 trillion galaxies. They say it has up to 2 trillion. We can't even wrap our mind around the idea of a trillion of anything. But the observable universe, keep in mind that this is just a portion, a piece of the universe. This portion of the universe that we can observe has up to 2 trillion galaxies. 100 billion stars within those galaxies. Okay? So let me make sure y'all understand something. Y'all see all these lights? All these lights, all these lights. These are not stars. Those are galaxies. In the galaxies, you can have up to 500 to 600 million planetary bodies per galaxy. Do y'all understand that? We live in what's called the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy is only one of all of these galaxies. The Milky Way galaxy is only one of 2 trillion galaxies. Man, wrap your mind around this shit. We talking about, y'all want to say, oh, I seen God and I know God. Oh, no, you ain't seen God, homie. God is way bigger than what you think. We talking about a system in which we can only see a portion of the universe, and in that portion, you got 2 trillion galaxies. And each galaxy can have up to 500 to 600 million planetary bodies within those galaxies. And these folks want y'all to think that Earth is the only place that's got life. This is just a portion of it. This is not his entire garden. This is the southwest corner of his garden. It's not the entire garden, all right? It's just a portion of the universe that we have been able to observe, that we have been able to catalog. 2 trillion galaxies, right? A galaxy is like a universe itself that holds many worlds, okay? So this is a galaxy right here. This is one of the 2 trillion. This is our Milky Way galaxy, okay? So a galaxy is a world itself. It's its own world, okay? A galaxy is like its own universe. A galaxy is like its own universe. And within that universe, you have a bunch of different worlds. And Earth is one of the worlds within the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, we got a ton of other worlds that's within this Milky Way galaxy. Okay? We are a part of the lower celestial bodies. There are other worlds in the upper celestial bodies. Now, I know a lot of y'all have heard this concept of the firmament, but I'm telling y'all have been wrong about the location of the firmament. The real firmament is the firmament that separates the lower celestial bodies from the upper celestial bodies. Okay, and I'm gonna show y'all what that's all about. But we exist in the lower celestial bodies, all right? With Earth, Mars, Venus. You got Earth, Mars, Venus. What else is there? I gotta go look at the graph, but those are some of the planets that's in the lower celestial bodies. Okay, so within this universe, within this galaxy, right? Which, like I told y'all, the galaxy is like a universe. So if you wanna like embrace the concept of the multiverse, this will be an easy way to do it. Look at all the galaxies as being a universe, right? Some people say, well, we can't see the multiverse. Bullshit. If you can see these galaxies, you are seeing the multiverse. This is a universe, okay? A galaxy is like a universe itself that holds many worlds. One galaxy can have up to 100 billion stars. Stars are the light bodies that planets form around. Our sun is our local star. And around that sun, we have planets that make up our solar system. Okay? I'm going to just a little basic science. Okay? So all of these galaxies, all of these stars in these galaxies all have planets that revolve around. It is said that each galaxy has over 400 million planetary bodies, which is just an estimate. Could be many more. So wrap your mind around this picture. This is the observable portion of the universe, the known universe, all that we can see with our technology. This is just understanding the scale makes you say that there's definitely more to our story than we have been given. All of the planets out there, more planets than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth, and you allow these people to convince you that it's only us? Think about that. It's more planets out there. It is more planetary bodies than all the grains of sand on Earth. And you to let these people convince you that it's only us. You tripping. You tripping. Let me show y'all real quick where we at in the scheme of things. Let me show y'all where we at in the scheme of things. Look at this. Let me show y'all that this is the Milky Way galaxy. This would be us. Y'all can see that little dot right there? That you can't even see the damn dot. This arrow is pointing to a little dot. That's us. Brother Chops in the building. What's happening, Brother Chops? Peace and love, family. Peace and love. This is us. Can you imagine? I mean, guys, I'm just keep it real. This is like an ant. Right? Think about an ant living on this ant pile. That ant thinks that the whole world is that ant pile. The ant pile that they built, they think that that's the whole world. We are the ants, gang. Okay? They say ants can't perceive human beings the same way we can't perceive God. That's how big we are in relative to an ant. Ants can't perceive human beings the way we can't perceive God. It's much too big. So imagine being this small. Imagine being an ant and living in the world and thinking that your ant pile is the only ant pile in existence. You'll be a crazy ass ant, wouldn't you? You'll be a crazy ass ant thinking that your ant pile is the only one in existence, huh? Out of all of this that's out there. And for all the people that say that space don't exist, first of all, lay down and get you some rest, okay? Because don't say that dumb shit no more. The only people that say space don't exist is the people who can't afford a telescope or the people who have never looked through a high-powered telescope. Okay, so if you never had a telescope, if you think space don't exist, if you think there ain't no other planetary bodies out there, please go buy a telescope and stop saying dumb shit. Please go get your telescope, or find you somewhere you can visit that has a telescope. Okay, so you can look out and you can see these other planetary bodies out there because they're definitely out there, right? So yeah, it's much more to our existence than what we've been told. It's a much bigger scale. Right? Most of these planetary bodies contain life forms. Some like us, some completely different from us. Y'all understand that, right? So we talking about all of this life. Look at all of this possibility of all of this life that could be out here. All right, let's look at the observable universe. Look at all this. These are all galaxies. These are all galaxies that's got 500 million planets. Look at this picture. All these lights, all these beautiful lights you see are galaxies. And within these galaxies, we got 500 million planets. Okay? So you need to be prepared for the idea that there is going to be life forms that exist on these planetary bodies that are completely different from us. Are we ready to accept that we are not the only creation in existence? Are we ready to accept that? Are we ready to accept that these galaxies house life forms vastly different from us? Life forms that have evolved many more times than us, which means they are older than us. They have higher spiritual and technical abilities. Some older than us, some younger than us, okay? But there are a lot that's older than us. This is what happens in God's system with time. We grow, we evolve. You continuously see this theme pop up, right? This is how we get to the higher dimensions, through evolution. You can't attain the higher dimensions without evolution, okay? So you see this theme continuously play out. I told you, because that's a component of God's system. So if you want to understand the true story of Earth, you must understand that Earth was impacted by beings from another part of our galaxy. Okay, so now y'all can kind of see why we're talking about all of this stuff. Everything that I'm teaching y'all is leading us up to the story of the Anunnaki. The story of the Anunnaki, the story of Earth. But in order to tell y'all the story of the Anunnaki, I first have to show y'all that it's possible that other life exists out in the cosmos. Give me a 1 in the chat if you are following me thus far. Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand these concepts thus far. I just want to make sure we all on the same page. Because see, if I go, for all my new people, if I go straight into teaching about the Anunnaki, you're going to have questions about where the Anunnaki come from. Okay? You're going to have questions about where they come from. Then you're going to have questions about who created the Anunnaki. You're going to have a bunch of different questions about them. So instead of having you have all these questions, we're going to ask, I try to teach as much as I can in the beginning so that you can kind of understand the concept, where the concept of otherworldly beings come from, okay? So if you want to understand the true story of Earth, you must understand that the Earth was impacted by beings from another part of our galaxy. Beings that are God's creation the same way we are. Beings that were seeded and evolved over time, just as we are in the process of this world. Okay? So understand that, what I just said. The Anunnaki are created beings the same way we are created beings in God's system. The Anunnaki are not gods. These other extraterrestrial groups, they are not gods. They are creation just the same way we are creation. We just ran up on them when they were at a more evolved state and we were at a lesser evolved state. Okay? A lot of people think the story starts with the Anunnaki. That's just the surface level. To get to the deeper levels, you have to discuss the parents of the Anunnaki race. Remember I told y'all about the difference between being parented and created? Creation is the process of God. Parenting, the parented races, the races that were parented, those are the process of God's creation. Okay, so the beings that God's create, they have the ability to parent other races. Okay, we're gonna get into all that. I'm gonna break all of that down. God gave his seeds the ability to create life. right? We can all agree with that, right? God gave his seeds the ability to create life. At the lowest level of this creation, we have what's called procreation. Procreation is one of the lowest level of creation. Okay, that's what mama and daddy do. When mama and daddy get together and bump uglies, all right, and if it's the right time of the month, and she ovulating, and here we go, we got contraception. All right, procreation leads to contraception, which leads to the birthing of a being. Okay, now that's the lowest form of creation that God gave us. Like I told y'all, God gave all of his creations the ability to create. So that's one form of creation. There's three forms of creation, right? There's three forms of creation that we know of. So that's one form of creation, which is procreation. Then there's another level that you can achieve with spiritual evolution, and that's creation by design. Okay? That's creation by design. So first you got procreation, then you got the ability to create by design. Now, what is creation by design? This is the creation of beings through genetic manipulation. Okay? So when a group of beings rise to a certain level of genetic understanding, then they have the ability to manipulate genes in order to create life. This is what the Anunnaki did on Earth. Okay, the Anunnaki, if you want to say that the Anunnaki created us, they created us by design. Okay, this is the creation of beings through genetic manipulation. We were designed, they designed us a specific way through genetic manipulation. All right, but then there's the highest level of creation, and that level is creation by thought. A manifested creation. Y'all have heard that term before, right? Give me some tools in the chat if you've ever heard the term manifested or the term of manifesting. Yeah, these things are real. These things are real. Your brother Chief Kuttah just finna connect the dots for you right quick. So we talk a lot about manifesting in today's time, right? People talk about the process of being able to create the reality you want, being able to attract things into your life from just thought. Ain't that what people say? We can do it just from thought. Well, where does that concept come from? Okay, now you got to understand where that concept comes from. This is how I believe the universe came into existence, through thought. If y'all don't know, your thoughts are a frequency, an electromagnetic wave. A lot of people don't know this. But guys, when you think something, you are emitting a wave of energy. Okay? There are literally people who can communicate with just thoughts. Okay, and we all have this ability, but again, these are things you have to be trained in. All right, we live in a system where somebody is keeping us away from these abilities. I talked to y'all about that yesterday. We live in a false reality where somebody is keeping us away from the true reality, which is our connection to God. Okay, so we're gonna get into that too, because I think there is a war being waged amongst God's creation. All right. So somebody is trying to keep us away from these abilities. Somebody don't want us to know. Now, along my journey in life, I ended up coming across these teachings. They're called the law of attraction. All right. Give me some threes in the chat if you've ever heard of the law of attraction, the secret. So, I'm a blessed man, and the Most High, now I understand that the Most High has had me in training for some time. So while I was on my journey, there was a time where I wasn't this guy. There was a time where I was a street dude, right? I was talking early in the live about how I hate street niggas, but I was a former street nigga. I was in them streets, you know what I'm saying? But when you go through a period of evolution, when you go through spiritual evolution, when you go through a different realm, when you enter into a different realm of life, you let go of all of that shit that you used to engage in, okay? So at one point in time, I was out there, doing a bunch of baby brain stuff. But then, God put me on this, path, and God began to train me. And one of the things that God brought into my world was the training of the law of attraction. And I dedicated myself to the law of attraction. I absolutely dedicated myself to it. It is not something that you can make happen in your life overnight. So when we talk about the ability to manifest and attract things, guys, this takes many years to even become a little good at it. I'm a little good at it. I'm not maximum good. I'm just a little good. And it takes many years of being dedicated to these processes to be able to manifest, okay? And to be able to manifest, a lot of the processes that revolves around that is being positive, being good to people, putting out good energy, right? Always showing gratitude, being thankful, right? These are all components that facilitate the ability to do this, all right? So if you're on that process, there are going to be times where you don't want to be positive. There are going to be times where you're not going to feel, as there are going to be times where you don't have as much gratitude as you would like, right? But, you got to you got to pick yourself up, you got to get back on it, and you got to change your frequency, and you got to make yourself positive. All right. You got to do whatever you got to do to put this energy out. Okay. So if you follow that process, over time, you strengthen your ability to manifest, okay? So what I've been able to do, man, everything that I have in my life comes from manifested energy, right? I prayed for things and I received. I made a vision board, and I watch my vision board every day. Every day I would get up, watch my vision board. I would see my vision. I would see the vision of what I want for my life. And I was able to manifest that. I was able to create the businesses that I wanted. I was able to create the health that I wanted. All of the things from my vision board I was able to create. And I'm still creating from my vision board. Okay? Matter of fact, while we talking about something, or a piece of my vision board right here. All right, this is a check. This is a company check from my company. I don't know if y'all can see it. This is a company check that I wrote myself for $100 million. Okay, and on this check it says $100 million for the purposes of helping humanity and family. Okay, so this is a part of my vision board because that's what I'm attracted. I want to be able to help my people. I want to be able to help humanity, and I want to be able to provide for my family. So this is one of the things that I'm still, and you're gonna see it coming to fruition. When 100 million do come, you're going to be like, Chief, you told me. You told me, Chief, okay? Because everything else on my vision board, I already manifested. Everything else on my vision board, I manifested. The 2 businesses that I wanted, I had all the cars on my vision board I've had. I've either owned them or I've owned them, all right? So the only thing left is for that 100 mil to find me, okay? And it's going to find me because I'm in training right now. It ain't time for me to go out in the world and do the things that I'm supposed to do. But when it's time for me to go out, God gonna send me the resources I need to do all the things necessary. Okay. So let's get back to that mode of creation. I told y'all it's 3 forms of creation. There's procreation, there's creation by design, and the third level of creation is creation by manifestation. And this is how I believe the universe came into existence, through thought. If y'all don't know, your thoughts are a frequency. Your thoughts are an electromagnetic wave. Okay, now I know you can't see the waves, but you also can't see the microwaves that cook your food. But when you put that food in the microwave, it's damn sure get cooked, right? You can't see the radio waves that transmit the music to your ears, but you damn sure hear that music, don't it? Okay, so waves are not visible to the human spectrum, but they damn sure exist. Just because we can't see something, don't mean it don't exist. Okay, so you are giving off waves of energy every time you think something. This is why Amun-Ra attached his name to your prayer. This is why when you pray, Amun-Ra had his people in their prayer in his name. because he wanted to receive the prayer energy. These Anunnakis had technologies that let them absorb these waves, these energies, this frequency. That's how deep it is. The Anunnaki, these people, they had these technologies that allowed them to absorb these energies. Hell, the reptilians live off of our fear. They literally eat fear. Give me a 1 in the chat if y'all understand that concept. If y'all ever heard that concept before, that the reptilians feed off of our fear. It's energy, gang. It's energy, gang. It's a form of sustenance. We just can't conceive. We just can't perceive these things because we, like I say, we down here in the box. Okay, so these people are able to harness this energy. This is why that prayer energy was so important. So y'all been giving a lot of times, man. If you've been out here praying for stuff and you ain't been getting the stuff that you've been praying for and things ain't working out, it's because you're giving your prayer energy to the wrong source. You've been giving your prayer energy to Amun Ra when you should have been directing your prayer energy to the creator of all. Oh, Amun Ra here like a cornerback, intercepting everything. So the creation of the universe through thought is the highest level of creation. We all have this ability granted to us by the Most High, but it takes many lifetimes to express this ability in the way our Creator does. So some of us are actively training to harness this ability. Those teachings, like the law of attraction, they found us by design. Okay? So if you're a student of the law of attraction, you didn't find that, it found you. And if you are a student of the law of attraction and you in here with me, then you already know you've been walking the path that's been set for you to walk. Oh, you ain't here by coincidence. It ain't no coincidence that you in here with me. All right? If y'all don't know it, man, this is a light worker training course. This is a training course for light workers. This ain't just a normal TikTok live where you come and learn some facts, where you get a bunch of fun facts. Y'all are light workers. Y'all are the people that they wanted to activate. And these type of classes or these type of gatherings are happening all over the planet right now. Okay, so this is our class. This is light worker training. All right. So we all have the ability to create in these 3 ways. But in order to create in the way that God creates, it takes many lifetimes to express this ability. The highest level of creation is reserved for God in the beings that achieve 9 to 12 dimensional ascension. Okay, so I don't know if y'all know about the dimensional scale, but we are a 3-dimensional race. Okay, the Anunnaki is what you consider the 5-dimensional race. All right. And then there's other dimensions that above that. Then when you start to get to like 7th dimension, 8th dimension, now we're talking about etheric beings. We're talking about just light bodies. Okay. And then when you get up to the upper 9th through 12, now you're talking about archons, or who y'all call angels. Right? I'm gonna teach y'all all about that. Right? They telling y'all that the goddamn Anunnaki were angels. No, they wasn't. They were not archons. They were not archons of God's system. Okay? There's a big difference between the archons and the actual creation. We're going to get into all that because the system of God has a part 3. This is just part 2. Okay? But this highest level of creation is reserved for God and the beings that achieve the 9 to 12 dimensional ascension. I think that when you achieve these higher levels, you ultimately become a god of your own universe, which is an amazing concept. Now, that's just my theory. My theory is that we are ultimately all returning to the source. So I think that everything that we are experiencing is for the purposes of returning to a light body. Okay, so if we live all of these many lifetimes, many life paths, we're gonna learn. We're gonna gather data. We're gonna develop. We're gonna evolve. And after so many of these lifetimes, after so many of these life paths, we evolve to a place where we can be a god of a universe as well. Okay, so I think that God, there is no one God. I don't think that there's no one God. I think that there's a system of God. And that system of God creates other gods in the process. Okay? So I'm going to get to it. Like I say, you still seeing God through the eyes of man, as a man. Okay? We're not seeing God that way in here. God is an energy. God is a system. Okay? We're going to get to it. Just walk with me. So I think that at the end of the day, just as a theory, I think that, the whole purpose of dimensional ascension is to rise to these levels. I think when you get to the highest level, you get to the 12th dimension, maybe the energy comes out and say, hey, you've achieved 12th dimension. Now it's time for you to have your own universe. Okay? And so, that's just a theory, but I think that theory has some fact to it, because like I say, we are always evolving to a better state. Think about the DNA system. The DNA system is always gathering data to make us better, So what level of better are we getting to? It's got to be in order. The highest level of better has to be what we call God, because we see God as perfect. So is this a return to perfection? Maybe. It's a return to perfection, all right? So our life has tremendous purpose. We are a part of an ongoing system that's well thought out. And I want you guys to enjoy this experience. I want y'all to enjoy this ride of life. I don't want y'all going through life stressing. At the beginning of class, I told everybody, I know it's a lot going on in the political climate. I know it's a lot going on with Trump. It's a lot going on with Ukraine, Russia, all of this. Man, fuck all of them people and fuck all of that shit. Because that has nothing to do with us. We don't have no control over what Trump does. We can't stop Trump's tariffs. We can't stop Russia from doing something to Ukraine. We can't stop none of that shit. So why are we putting energy into those things? We need to be putting energy into understanding life. We need to be putting energy into bettering ourselves, okay? So what I want my folks to do is I want you to stop stressing and learn how to enjoy this ride. Because I'm telling y'all right now, your brother Chief Kuttah, I don't exist in this earth in the same way I used to. I'm outside of my body. I'm actually observing the world now. I'm not actively in the world. I'm in observance of the world. Okay, that's why I'm having so much fun. That's why I can sit back and laugh at shit. Shit don't really bother me. I told y'all the other day when COVID happened, COVID did not affect my family. It didn't affect me because I was living in a different frequency. I was living on a different timeline. And if you want to be able to be there, if you want to be able to jump timelines or change frequency, then stick with your brother Chief Kuttah, because I'm going to teach you. But I don't want y'all stressing, man. Come on, Cat. Cat just dropped a ball. We in it, but not of it. See, that's that level of spiritual evolution that I want all us to have. See, when you evolve spiritually, just like what our sister Cat just said, you will be in it, but you won't be of it. This shit don't affect me. Different level. Okay? We here to learn, but as well as to teach. Okay? So our life got tremendous purpose. We are a part of an ongoing system that's well thought out. This is why an understanding of the God force is necessary. So let's talk the theory of what God in the universe may be. Like I said yesterday, the conversation of God's creation is very similar to the concept of the chicken and the egg. Okay? A lot of people want to know what came first. Was it God, then the universe, or did the universe always exist? Okay, so Chief Kuttah ain't the only one that's got these questions. Obviously, as other people got these questions as well. As you can see from this graphic, either somebody says the universe created itself, or something created it, or it has always been. All three options are unbelievable. Okay? So what I want y'all to understand is this is what we're going to explore in the system of God. Did the universe create itself? That's a possibility. That's a part of my theory, right? Or there's the concept of God creating the universe. Now my problem with the concept of God creating the universe is, how would God exist if nothing existed? Where would God come? God has to come from somewhere, gang. Okay, I don't care. You know, you can be the most powerful entity and still have an origin. Do y'all understand that? Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand that. You can be the most powerful entity, but still have a point of origin. And I think that's the biggest problem. Folks tend to see it like, folks want to see it the way like, well, you know, God created the universe. So where God come from, dog? That's a legitimate question when you say that. When you say that God created the universe, it's going to be hard to explain it. Because without the universe, there's nothing. So how can something had to exist in order to create what we call God? Okay? So 2 of these I agree with. I agree with that the universe, my system of God says that the universe existed as existence. Okay? So that term existence, okay? That term existence is a entity in itself. The word existence, that's what we live in, gang. We live in existence. Existence is the fabric of what we call the universe. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can try to simplify that and explain that concept to you as best I can. It is my belief that what we call the universe was once an empty void that just existed. Now, last time we was in class, I told y'all there are some concepts that we're gonna have to just accept. I think that we want to know every single thing. We ain't gonna be able to know every single thing, gang. There are some concepts that we just gonna have to accept. We're gonna have to We're gonna have to accept that existence existed. There is no who created existence. Because I cannot fathom the idea of something being in existence and then creating existence. That just don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So existence itself is an entity. I want you to look at existence like a fabric. I want you to see existence like the fabric. Okay? So the planets we live on, the galaxies that our planets inhabit, they are all a part of this fabric of existence. Existence is a living organism in which all the universes are connected to. So in theoretical physics, they have a term called the string theory. And the string theory is the idea that the multiverse is connected by strings, that all of these multiverses are all connected by strings. These strings that are connecting the multiverses are a part of the fabric of existence. We're not going to get beyond it. At some point, we just got to accept something, okay? So we have existence existing as a fabric, and the strings of that fabric is what's connecting all of these universes to make up what we call the multiverse. Now, in existence, we think some conditions were present, some kind of pressure, some kind of force, some kind of force that existed within existence that created the foundational energies that make up our universe. The foundational energies of the universe are magnetism and electricity. I want everybody to understand that. Magnetism and electricity are the two most important energy components of the entire universe. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Don't let nobody tell you that gravity, because gravity ain't nothing but magnetism, okay? Magnetism and electricity are the two most components of the universe. So follow me here, guys. Follow me, please. So existence is the fabric. Pressurized conditions within existence led to the energy of magnetism and electricity. We don't have a planet without the application of these energies. Do y'all understand that? I want to make sure everybody understand that. You know, we say God created us. We're going to get to all of this, right? But right now, I want y'all to understand that without magnetism and electricity, we don't exist. Give me a 2 in the chat if you understand this. Magnetism and electricity governs everything about our planet, even the orbit of it. Everything is governed by magnetism and electricity. I'm going to break that down to you. We do not have a planet without the application of these energies. Our planets are electric. Our water is electric. They out here telling us right now to get alkaline water, right? They say drink alkaline water because alkaline water is electric. It's alive. It's what the body needs, right? The earth is electric. Nikola Tesla showed people 60, 70 years ago that you can take a light bulb and you can screw a light bulb into the earth and that motherfucker will light up. Give me a 1 in the chat if y'all remember this experiment by Nikola Tesla when Nikola Tesla was proving the wireless energy theory. He was the one who created wireless energy. He created wireless energy. He didn't create it. He discovered it 60, 70 years ago. More than that, 80 years ago. Might be shit. Damn, it's 2020. Might be 90 years ago now. All right. So we know that the planet is an energy source that is electric. Watch this. Let's go a step further. The ground is a plug from which our feet plug into, and we get energies from them. This is called grounding. This is where we get the terminology of grounding from when you're in electricity. When you're an electrician. This is where the term grounding comes from. So when we put our feet into the earth, on the earth, our bare feet, we are involved in a process called grounding that allows us to absorb energies of the earth. I ground every day as a form of meditation. How many of y'all do grounding? Coolie High, appreciate the love. Tap it up, gang. Show me some love. Show me some love on the gifts. Tap it up. Tap it up. How many of y'all ground? If you don't ground, you need to get into it. If you don't ground, you need to get, yes, it does, man. It will heal that spirit. It will heal the physical body and the spirit. Man, it's a beautiful thing, Ariston. I go out there and I put them feet in that ground. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all what grounding gonna make you do. Grounding is going to make you take care of your yard better. I be taking care of my goddamn grass. Ooh, man, I ain't never was no goddamn person that like to do no gardening or stuff like that. But man, I be taking care of my grass. Yeah, y'all hugging trees too. That energy that come from trees. You damn right, Kingpin. Come on, man. I basically put my back up against a tree and I meditate that way. also grounded. But I take care of my grass so good. I love my grass to be healthy, green, luscious. I love putting my feet in that grass, meditating and absorbing them energies. And every time I do it, I be so refreshed. I be feeling so good, so energetic. So think about that, gang. So think about that. Okay, Imperative say he bought a grounding mat. Yeah, so you sleeping with the grounding mat, huh? Okay, now that's the next level. I want to get me one too. That's the one you can sleep with and you can continue to ground while you're sleeping. Shout out to Imperatives, man. I see you, my brother. Now I know why you in here. You connected. All right, you a like-minded brother. I already see it. So yes, man, grounding is very important, guys. You follow me on this shit, because I'm giving y'all some very complex ideologies. All right. So when I'm telling y'all about magnetism and electricity, man, go outside, get you some sun. If you sick, whenever you sick, D-Lynn, you doing the right thing. I always go stand in the sun. I let the sun hit my head and I put my feet in the grass and I go through my prayer process. You know, I meditate and I pray. All right. So these are all things that I want to share with y'all in the future as well, too, man. I do more than just teach. There's other components of my life that I would like to share with y'all that's going to help, you know, to betterment, to making yourself a stronger spirit, so that you can be stronger in your manifestations and things of that nature as well. But so think about what I'm telling y'all about magnetism and electricity and how important they are to us existing, right? So I told y'all the earth itself is electric, okay? And we connect to the earth. So without this electricity from the earth, we can't have none of the technologies we got. Shit, we can't have no light on the earth. We'll still be living just, you know, trying to, hopefully the sun will stay out long enough for us to see. Okay? So electricity is all around us, right? As well as magnetism. Magnetism is all around us. Magnetism is responsible for so many things, like the orbit of the earth, right? You see planetary bodies in orbit, right? Some people don't believe that we in orbit. We are in orbit, okay? We orbit, planetary orbit is like a road, okay? So all of these planets have their own road to travel around. All right. Now, the reason these planets travel around the sun is because the sun is one big magnet. Did y'all hear me? Hold on now. Hold on now. I just told y'all how important electricity and magnetism was. So let's talk about magnetism. All right. The sun is one big magnet. So you want to talk about how important electricity and magnetism is? Shit, if we ain't got no sun, we damn sure ain't here. Okay? So watch this. Let me. I'm gonna break it on down. Magnetism is responsible for many things, like the orbit of Earth. Within the Earth, there is a huge metal core ring. Okay? Now I know they like to tell y'all that the core of the Earth is a ball. It's a big metal ball in the middle of the earth, but it's actually, you know, y'all know we don't live on a sphere, okay? We live on a disc. We live on something that's more like a disc. We live on a half a rock. Okay, now for all my new people, I'm gonna break down to y'all what the earth is. The earth is not a sphere. We don't live on a fucking sphere. Okay, I'm tired of people lying to y'all. When y'all see these shapes of the planets, y'all are seeing the electromagnetic, y'all are seeing like the electromagnetic field that goes above these planets. You're not seeing the actual shape of these planets. You're seeing the electromagnetic field, and that electromagnetic field looks like it's a circular sphere. But in fact, the planet is a disk, okay? And this has been proven by there was a guy that went up in a hot air balloon probably about 80, 90 years ago named Augustus Picard. Do y'all remember, I think Hennessy did a commercial dealing with Augustus Picard. Augustus Picard said that when he went up in this hot air balloon, when he got above the low altitude, he was able to see the Earth. He said he didn't see any curvature. He said what he saw was a disc, an upturned disc. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Reading up at the top. Augustus Picard. Picard was reported to have said that the Earth seemed a flat disc with upturned edge. That man went up there. That man was up there. That man was up there. You understand? Okay, but the problem with that, what I want y'all to understand, that was his perception that it looks like a flat disc. Not that it was just a flat disc. It's not a flat disc. It's flat. The portion we live on at top is flat, but this is half of a rock we live on. Okay, we live on half of a rock. Let me show y'all the concept of what we live on right quick. Shallow bowl, exactly. This is what we live on, guys. We live on half of a rock. All right. So there's that because all of it was a molten rock. Was all was just rock and metal. Was molten metal and rock. Okay. So this is what we live on. This is the ice wall. All that you see surrounding the water. This is the ice wall keeping the water at bay. This is the outer earth that people talk about. They say beyond the ice wall. They say we travel beyond the ice wall, we're going to go into another world, which I believe. They say beyond the ice wall. They say we travel beyond the ice wall, we're going to go into another world, which I believe. Which I 100% believe that there is land outside of the ice wall. Okay, but what I want y'all to understand is, okay, but what I want y'all to understand is, with the concept of half a rock, you still have an inner earth. Okay, you still have an inner earth, because if you go down into the earth, right, when you dig a hole into the earth, you're going inside the earth, right? We all understand that, right? I mean, you can theorize about outer earth. Outer earth is in theory, but a fact is inner earth. I want y'all to understand that. You can dig into the earth. We don't know if it's something outside of the ice wall because we ain't traveled there, right? Admiral Byrd say he did, but Admiral Byrd didn't say he traveled outside of the ice wall. He said he traveled into the earth. I don't know where people get that shit from. Admiral Byrd say he flew into the earth. Okay? So we got to make sure we're accurate on that. All right? So this is what we live on. And there are worlds inside the earth. We're going to talk about inner earth at some point as well. I'm going to start building on inner earth. It ain't a lot of information out there, but what information I do have, I will share it with y'all. But yeah, we live on something like this. Okay? And the reason why it's a half a rock is because, it went through a cataclysm. There was a cataclysm that took place many eons ago, where the planet Nibiru, when the planet Nibiru was coming through, where the Anunnaki are from, their planet was on this very weird orbit. And when it was on this orbit, it came into our solar system, and its moon crashed into our planet and created what we have today. So the Earth used to be a full-size rock, but because of the impact of Nibiru's moon, it's now a half a rock. Okay? So I'm just giving y'all a little seed of it right now. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk more. But what I wanted y'all to understand is, let's get back to what I was telling y'all about magnetism. Okay? So the sun is one big magnet. All right? It's electric and it's magnetic. It's electromagnetism. So we was talking about orbit and how orbit works. This is how important magnetism is. Within the earth, there is a huge metal core ring. So instead of seeing the core of the earth as a big metal ball that's in the middle of the earth, I want y'all to see it as a core that circumferences the entire earth. Okay? So look where my bowl at. Hold on, here we go. It's my earth bowl. Y'all know I always use this to describe earth. Hold on. Can't see nothing. Can y'all see this? Okay, there we go. So I always use this bowl to describe earth, right? So when he said we lived in an upturned disc, that's how it would look. It would look like, kind of upturned, but still being able, still understanding that it has a bottom, a surrounding, okay? So this outer ring would be the metal core. Okay, that metal core exists around the entire circumference of the earth, right? So if you got a metal core, if you have a metal core surrounding the earth, and then the sun is a magnet that's 100 million times bigger, right? Because we know the sun is way bigger than our earth, right? So if the sun is a bigger magnet, what happens when a bigger magnet is in the same space of a piece of metal? What happens when a magnet and metal meet? It starts to move that metal, right? If you got a big, huge magnet and you put a piece of metal at the end of your desk, if that magnet is big enough, it will start attracting that metal. That's kind of like what the earth is doing when it's in orbit. The sun is attracting these planetary bodies. This is why planetary bodies move in orbit like a carousel, because they all have a metal core ring, and they all are being attracted by this magnetic sun. Okay, the planets of our solar system, they all revolve around our sun. Do y'all understand that? Do that make sense to y'all? Give me a 2 in the chat if that makes sense to you. The sun being a huge magnet, the earth having a metal core around it, and this is what leading to the movement of planetary bodies in orbit. It's like a beautiful carousel. Without that magnetism, our planet is just randomly floating through space. It would never be in position to develop life. Did y'all hear that? How important is magnetism? Without that magnetism, our planet is just randomly floating through space. It would never be in position to develop life. The sun is a tool in God's system. God designed it this way so that the planets get the energy they need to develop. The sun is nothing more than you ever seen like people who grow weed? People who grow weed sometimes use artificial light. Even people who grow vegetables sometimes use artificial light. But sometimes artificial light is used to grow these plants, right? So artificial light would be the tool that man is using, because when man is growing something, whenever you growing something, whenever you plant something, you are playing the role as God. That's you playing the role as God. When you create a life, you playing the role as God. You understand? Because at the end of the day, what did I tell y'all? You're ultimately being trained to become a God. I hope this is making sense. Y'all remember when I told you that earlier in the class? I said that ultimately, when we achieve all these different lifetimes, all these different life paths, if we evolve spiritually and we reach the higher dimensional levels, I think that we ultimately become a God of our own universe. So when you give birth, you're actually you're being a form of God. When you plant something, you're being a form of God. So when you plant something and you're using artificial light to grow it, to give it energy, it's the same way that God put the sun up there for the planets. That's his artificial light to grow his seeds, which is beautiful. which is beautiful, right? Which is beautiful. Okay, I appreciate your information. We're going to have to show you the dough now. We don't need no help. Okay, y'all can show them the dough. Y'all can show them the dough. I appreciate you. I'm glad. Thank you for telling me I'm confused. I appreciate you coming in here and letting me know I'm confused. We're going to show you the dough now. Thanks. He knows better than everybody. Ad Maker knows better than everybody, y'all. Big shout out to Ad Maker, who's probably literally got no followers, but he knows all about the ice wall because he's been there. Because he's been there. Because he's been there. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Like, who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you debunking? This nigga gonna debunk the whole world? Get your goof ass out of here, bro. Come on now. So the sun is a tool in God's system. God designed it this way so that the planets get the energy they need to develop. So remember, we have to see God's system as a garden. And once a gardener seeds his garden, then he must ensure it gets proper light, water, and minerals. Some farmers use artificial light. God created natural light for this purpose to provide his seeds with all their needs. And last time I checked, the sun give all things life. And last time I checked, the sun love us. Now I tend to think that the sun gives all natural things life. Now, there's some people out here that the sun don't fare well with. I tend to think that those are unnatural people. Okay, I ain't gonna call no names, but it's a group of people out here that don't like the sun. We like the sun. I can't wait till the sun come out tomorrow. I might go stand in it, give me some energy. But it's a group of people that exist, white people. I ain't gonna call no names, but the sun don't like them. And isn't it a coincidence that them same group of people is brought the most negativity? Think about that for a minute. God created the sun give all of God's creation life. But why would God have a creation upon his planet that is recessive to the sun, that the sun cannot help? It's almost like God didn't create them people. Remember I told you that remember that I told y'all that God gave his creation the ability to create? Give me a 2 in the chat if y'all remember me saying that. I said that God gave his creation the ability to create, right? Well, some of that creation created for good, some of that creation created for bad. That's the balance. So all creation ain't of the Most High. All creation exists in his system. But there are some beings that are dedicated to evil energies. We're gonna talk about all of this. We're gonna talk about the duality of good and evil because this is a part of God's system. So there are energies that's dedicated to evil energies. And I think that these evil energies are responsible for people like the white people. And then there's also beings that come from consciousness, that come from positivity, that come from love. I tend to think that those are melanated people. Because before we had to experience these white demons, we lived in peace. We lived in peace. We lived in paradise before these folks brought their negativity, brought their disease, and brought all of their hatred amongst the world. So let's just think about that too, man. That's a little bar too, man. God created natural light for this purpose, to provide his seeds with all their needs. So magnetism and electricity are 2 of the 3 components needed for life, existence being the other. So if you take existence, remember I told you existence is the fabric that existed before anything else. So if you take existence itself, magnetism and electricity, and you put them together, you got what? The Holy Trinity. Something to think about. Existence, magnetism, electricity. Those are the three. Just so happens, those are the only three. Everything else is a byproduct of electricity and magnetism. Existence, magnetism, and electricity makes what we can consider the Holy Trinity. All right? So this is where we're going to conclude today for the system of God. Tomorrow, don't miss, Friday class going to be good because that's going to be the last portion of the system of God. In tomorrow's course, we're going to look at the actual creation of what we call God. See now, tomorrow I'm going to explain to you, you can look at existence as God, or you can look at what existence, magnetism, and electricity created. Tomorrow I'm going to explain to y'all how electricity, magnetism came together to create consciousness. I hope y'all present for that. Okay, because now we're getting closer to what we consider God. All right, it's going to be good. All right, so I hope everybody had a good time here today, man. I hope y'all learned something of value. Like I say, man, this information is very complex, gang. Y'all got to remember that this is not information that's been taught, but this is all information that is a multitude of everything that's been taught. So everything that's been taught about the earth, about the sun, about life, all of these things make up the multitude of what we're talking about now. Okay? I am a blessed man. All of my information I receive in downloads. Okay? I feel like the Most High is channeling this information through me. All right? And I think that that's my purpose. My purpose is to disseminate this information out to the light workers, to the light beings, for the necessary, for us getting prepared for our next steps. Okay, so we're getting ready for our next steps in our evolution. This is why you are here with your brother, Chief Kuttah. This is why you are in training. This is why you are learning. Our God is bigger than the one that they gave us in the Bible, gang. You heard me? Our God is bigger than the one that they gave us in the Bible, guys. No, I don't mean subconscious. I don't know what you're talking about. Please don't tell me what I mean. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Like, bro, loving scrolls, I don't know you, family, but this is my class. Okay? And I'm a master teacher. I'm a master of my knowledge. Unless you can show me that you've achieved the same level of teaching that I have, unless you can show me that you got a class of people that rock with you, unless you can show me that you got people that will pay you to come and hear the information that you disseminate, I'm going to need you to pipe down on corrections. Okay? I meant what I said, consciousness, not subconscious. You are 1,000% wrong. This man, you know what? That is the weirdest shit when you get corrected by a baby brain. Just imagine, man, a dude that sat in class with 6 other individuals. You was in a class with 6 people all damn day, your whole life. 6 people that you was in a class with. You rode the short bus to school, and you done grew up, and you think you can connect, you can correct people that have graduated from high school, that have went to college, have attended college, but you think you know more than these people that's steadily studying. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's what we deal with TikTok. That's what we deal with when we're dealing with TikTok. We're dealing with the world of baby brains, all right? So like I say, man, I hope everybody had a good time. I appreciate everybody that showed up and showed out. At this time, we're going to take questions. If anybody got any questions, feel free. I want to try to expound on whatever I can. And I am going to be working on getting this uploaded to YouTube so y'all can go back and rewatch, okay? So tomorrow, we're going to have the final portion of the system of God. That's when we're going to discuss what magnetism and electricity created, all right? So I hope I see y'all tomorrow, too. If we got any questions, let them fly.